one that would stand out for me would be Angela Merkel when she first became the Chancellor of Germany. And I was at a big conference, it was a Rotary conference, and she was going to open the Rotary conference. I was the first speaker. And I was watching her backstage behind the curtains, and she was pacing back and forth. She had small notes on cards, and she's reading the notes, and she's clearly practicing, and she was clearly under stress. And it hit me that Angela Merkel was nervous in front of a crowd. And when she went out behind the curtains, out in front of the lectern, it was clear that she really was trying to pull herself together. And many people would sort of have difficulty getting in their head around the fact that the Chancellor of Germany, the most powerful woman in the world, could be nervous in front of a crowd. But the bottom line is, Jesse, she's human. And the number one fear in most countries in the world for most people is standing in front of a group of your peers and giving a speech. And it's in front of your peers. 100,000 strangers is relatively easy compared to giving a speech at a wedding of your daughter, which everybody's critical about you. But she was clearly nervous. And she inherited a gesture, was trained to use the gesture. I'll let you guess who that might have come from. What's called the steeple. Now, the steeple is a gesture that's almost like praying in front of your body, where the fingertips of one hand just touch lightly on the fingertips of the other hand. So it's called a steeple. Now, if you guys who are listening to this program now, if you just try that, just do this steeple. Just hold one hand, the fingertips touching the other hand, like praying in front of your body. And when you do this, the word that goes with this is confidence. As you start to do it, you start to feel within 2 minutes like you've got it all under control, that you are pulling yourself together, that your emotions are good. And importantly, what we found with photographic tests, people who have been mirroring, and we show those images to people who've got to make an assessment. What's this person like? What's their attitude like? What's their trustworthiness like? And we give them a list of adjectives to tick to describe what the person would be like if they met them. That when we introduce the mirroring gesture into it, the word confidence and authority and self-control start getting ticked in the adjective list. So what it means is that when people see you steepling, Jesse, they start to think that you seem to know what you're doing. You obviously know what you're talking about. So it works both ways. That it makes you feel good that you're pulling yourself together. Importantly, other people think you seem to know what you're doing. And when you look at Angela Merkel now, in fact, the first 10 years of her chancellorship, she put that into her repertoire. And every time she comes out of stage, she puts a steeple position together and she says, "Min Herren und Damen." And when you see her do this, you say, "Wow, this woman's really got it together." Yet chances are she was terrified behind the stage 2 minutes ago. So what it means is you can manipulate and control your emotions by taking certain body language gestures, because if you take any gesture and hold it for 2 minutes, you will feel the emotions that match it, because the emotions cause the gesture. But if you make the gesture, within 2 minutes, you feel the emotions. So if you're nervous about some meeting you've got to go to face-to-face, by taking on confidence signals, including things like the steeple, and if you Google Angela Merkel, you'll see her doing this everywhere. In fact, she overdid it, and the cartoonist and comedian started to take the mickey out of her, so she had to modify that a little bit. But if you do that, you manipulate it. And every time I see her come out and do this, it makes me laugh. And the same with, I did the first seminars in Russia at the Kremlin at the fall of communism, put on by the deputy mayor of St. Petersburg, who was Vladimir Putin. And Vladimir put on this seminar for the new 300 politicians of Russia, and I talked about steepling and first impressions on television, where you're visible from the waist up. And when I see Vladimir Putin on TV today, I still see him use steepling, head nodding, and he always looks at someone's hand when they present it to see whether it's going to be up or sideways. And so those two, and they're two very powerful people, just stand out in my mind of two people who know how to take training and will take it on board and make it work for themselves.